this place is absolutely beautiful. Got the sails out at the moment in this nice sunny weather to dry them off from my wet and windy passage. And when they're nice and dry, I'm going to be removing them and putting them away, ready for us to be hauled out.
Spent his money both frank and free, with his tales of the land and his songs of the sea, and he stole me, sir, a sod from me.
It's kind of mixed emotions. On the one hand, I'm sad the adventures are kind of finishing for a little while. However, what this also means for me is that tomorrow I am flying back to Italy. I'm going to see Rossella and Emma, and I've not seen them for 5 weeks, so I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm so excited about that. I can't tell you how excited I am. Right, so I'm going to be doing all this on my own. I'm going to try and give you a view of everything that I'm doing. If I make a fool of myself, I'm going to share it with you so you can learn from my mistakes, and if it all goes well, then I'll be very surprised. So let's see if we can get this boat out of the water without any issues. Britaly is currently here, and I need to make my way out into the river, down here to here. It's quite an unusual setup. There are some piles in the river, and on top of that there's kind of a track, and then the travel lift goes over the top of you onto the river, and then you go inside there. So I'll just talk you through what's going through my head here. The wind is coming from the port side. It's about 6 knots or something, I think. Not even 4 knots, 4.5. So the current is going to have more of an effect. There's a bit of a current running there from the stern towards the bow. Now I'll get rid of my folding bike, which has been brilliant by the way the last few weeks. I'll get rid of that and then I'll start sorting out the lines. You'll have to excuse the noise. This is a very well kept marina, and they're chipping and painting at the moment on that pontoon, so it's very noisy. But we'll be out of here in a minute. So as things stand, I've taken off all the lines bar 2. So we've got a line going to the bow and a line going to the stern. The boat's sitting a little bit ski-whiff at the moment. My plan is to just release the bow, go ahead with the engine and control the position of the boat with the engine and the rudder combined, and then I'll slip this last line and actually get me out onto the river. Before I take the line off, I'm going to put the engine on and get it in position, take the tension off it. I'm just playing with the wheel to get the boat sitting as I want it. Lock that there. As you can see, the boat's being held against the pontoon here. There's no tension on the bow line, and we're way over this side, so when we leave I've got to try and watch the stern, so if I turn too early I could hit the stern off there, so I'll try and avoid doing that. But for now, let's get this line off. There we go, so we're being held nicely there. Got all the time in the world. apart from the appointment is in about 15 minutes, so I don't have all the time in the world, but you know what I mean. Wait for any traffic to get out of the way. And I've already let this go a little bit, just kind of let myself slide forward a touch. Okay, I'm going to go for it. The coast is clear, there's no boats around. This has not got far to go, so I'm going to let this go, pull it in, and be on my way. Rope in the water is never nice, but with the way I'm going, it should be okay. Okay, we're out of the pontoon now. I've kept it in gear because I had that line in the water, and by keeping it in gear it was being blown away from the prop. So although, you know, that kind of makes you squeamish when you see the rope in the water, it's not ideal, but there's only one of me, and you know, that was all under control. And as I say, with the prop wash, the line was being kept away from the prop. I need to bring the fenders in because you can't go into the slings with the fenders out. I'll go and do that now carefully, because I've not got my jack lines anymore. It's flat calm, but it would be pretty embarrassing and awkward to fall in now. I've never seen as many oysters in my life, all the way around here. All the way around the marina, all the way along the riverbeds here. It's absolutely full of oysters. I saw them do a lift out yesterday. The plan is that the forward strop is going to be in the water but not particularly deep, and the aft strop is going to be very deep. So I'll go over the top of the aft strop into the forward strop, and the bow should just kind of rest on the strop. Sorry, I'm multitasking here. My brain doesn't do that very well. And then, yeah, once we're happy with the position of the forward strop, we can position the aft strop, which we have to be careful about because we've got a sail drive. Challenge is, because the river is flowing in this direction, you don't really get any steerage, you know. Initially you might be doing maybe a knot or more past the wall, you're nicely moving through the water, so you don't have steerage. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but we'll see. Hopefully we'll be okay. I don't have any fenders out either because you can't have them out when you're going into the strops, so I've got a wall on one side and a wall on the other side, covered in oysters. I really hope I don't mess this up. Practice run. Okay, this is a little bit terrifying. not now, when I'm doing it for real. There's really not much room to manoeuvre. Show you these oysters. Anybody watching this with much greater knowledge than me, is it possible that these could have pearls in them, any of them? What do I don't know anything about oysters. Just to give you an idea of what's going on here. Here at the bow, you can see there's quite a current running there. So over here, there's a current going that way. And as often happens, you know, you can see the line of the rivers there. So there's kind of like an eddy in here, almost. Is it a back current? Let's go and have a look. It actually is. So here, it's a back current. You can see the water's going that way, kind of in a big kind of eddy shape. I'm not exactly sure what's happening over there or between here and there. It's easier if you've got a current, you know, a steady current in one direction. You can kind of deal with that and you can plan for it. This is all a little bit of a mess for me to work out. But if you don't push yourself, you'll never ever learn anything, will you? That's kind of been my mantra always, you know, learn by doing. I've always done lots of things, just got stuck in and started doing them, you know. That's the only way you can learn. And you do make mistakes along the way, you learn from them, and you kind of slowly build your skills up. This town, Newport, is beautiful. I've only been there for a couple of hours, but it's a really pretty place, so I'm looking forward to showing you that at some point with Rossella and Emma. Here comes the travel lift. It needs some work underneath, of course. It's been in the water for over 18 months. Pardon?
Go back in water.
No, it's staying on the hard. It's quite fast, this guy. So I climbed up here using our swim ladder, but we always carry a telescopic ladder with us. Very handy for situations like this. You don't have to go borrowing ladders, you know, you just put your own out, and then it's easy to stow away. This was my first ever solo sailing adventure, so I'm not some kind of expert in this at all. However, I made it across safely. Boat preparation was key, passage planning was key. I've made a video about that, so if you're interested in how I was doing my passage planning, then you'll see that. There are big tides here, strong currents. It's the end of October, although I'm in a t-shirt now. It is the end of October, and it was really wet and windy during the journey. Anyway, one other thing that I did was I ran jack lines for the first time ever. I've never used jack lines before. I ran them from the bow cleats there to the stern cleats. I was always wearing my wet weather gear and life jacket, which is also a harness. It has a harness built into it. It's unlikely that you fall overboard, really. You're paying attention to what you're doing. But I was in lumpy weather, and all it takes is one slip, really, and you could potentially go overboard. And if that happens, although the likelihood of it is quite low, the severity is unbelievably dire. This part of the world, it's not very warm, the water, and that'll kill you quite quickly. I've done a lot of sea survival courses offshore, and the thing that will kill you is the heat being drawn from your body, which happens very, very quickly. There are things you can do to help with that. You know, you can kind of curl up in a ball. That will give you a little bit more time, but the reality is you've gone overboard and you're on your own. The clock is ticking, you don't have long. Doesn't matter if you can swim, it's not really relevant. You know, you're getting swept around by 2-knot currents. You're going to go where they take you, and unless somebody picks you up, the outlook is not good. So to cover that eventuality, this is something else that I had at all times on my kind of harness here. This is a Fast Find 220 PLB. It is a small electronic device with a float pouch. You flip off the cover and press a button, and then as soon as you press that button, it sends a signal via satellite. That sends a distress alert to the authorities, and they know that you're in trouble and they know exactly where you are. It continues to transmit for at least 24 hours. And not only does it continue to transmit your GPS position, it also transmits on 121.5 megahertz. So it has a little antenna that pops up. That allows people with a homing beacon to pinpoint your location. So when they're out searching for you, they know where you are from the GPS, but when they get there, they can track you down even more precisely with their homing beacon. These are around about £220, I think, so about $260, something like that. This is the kind of thing that I'm happy to spend a decent chunk of money on because it's so important. What is your life worth? And the life of your family or whoever's out on the boat with you. Something like this, in my opinion, is just a superb thing to buy for your boat. If I had to choose between this and flares, I'd choose this, no question. So there you are, I thought I'd share that with you. There are no rights and wrongs, you know, other people do things differently. Some people don't wear harnesses and they hold on tight. If a big green wave comes, holding on tight might not cut it. But these are decisions that we all have to make as individuals. So I thought I'd share what I did. It worked for me. I'm confident that if anything went wrong, I would have been okay. So I thought I'd share that with you. There we are, somebody using the tides here to their advantage. You can see from the water level on the walls there, the height of tide here. Right then, it's time for me to go and see my girls. See you soon. Some more adventures. So let's pick me up from the airport.
Yeah.
So we've had a catch up already, and And now we've come to Rossella's parents' house, where Emma, she may be sleeping, she may not be, we're not too sure, but
We're gonna find out soon.
she's there.